Over the last 12 years, the Asian American population has gone up 60%, 6-0. But the truth of the matter is there's very, very little diversity in our perception of Asian Americans in the public consciousness, unlike Latinos or African Americans or even Jews. Yoonj, do you even speak Korean?
Can you speak Yiddish?
Don't be a shmagegi.
네가 바보야.
As an Asian American, I just wanted to clear up a couple things for those of you that aren't. Most Asians don't live in neighborhoods called Chinatown. Not all of us are from Asia. Asia is not a country. It's an entire continent, just like Africa isn't one country. I might just look like another Asian American shopper here, but obviously I'm Yoonj, the producer of the show. You can also see though that the mall itself has a lot of Asian decorations to show that they are trying to attract the Asian Americans or Asian shoppers. Thank you. Happy New Year. 2014 has so far been really good to me, so let's see what this guy says. Good luck and good fortune from Santa Monica Place. For the past dozen years, Asian Americans have been the fastest growing racial group in the United States. But even though there are so many of us across the country, there are still very limited perceptions of us, like the fact that we're all nerds who go to college.
And how many like days a week are they here?
I mean, during the summer, program 8 weeks. That's
in a row, every day?
Every day.
Wow.
Monday through Friday, full day.
For 8 weeks in a row?
Yes.
And so what's the main thing they're coming to learn, basically?
Oh, they want to strengthen math and English.
It's expensive for them to come, I would imagine. It's not cheap.
A lot of Asian parents, they believe education is most important. So they'll sacrifice vacation, eating out, buying clothes. So it's not wealthy people who's investing in children's education.
Right.
But just average people.
How many kids that come through here and finish the program get into college?
100%.
100%?
Yeah, 100%.
Wow.
Yeah.
We're going to test against each other just to see who does better. So Yoonj says she's the stereotypical Korean American. Have you ever worked with a stereotypical stoner Jewish student from from the Palisades?
Oh, yeah, I did that too.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Penn High School and Palos Verdes High School.
How'd you do on the SATs?
Yeah,
I did pretty well.
No, really?
I got a 23 out of 2,400.
I'm in deep trouble. Is this, I mean, like, are you about to blow me away on this?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. We're about to see how, if I really have ADD or not. Okay, are you prepared? I feel like you're so prepared and I'm not prepared at all.
I haven't seen this in a while.
Yeah, like 2 years. Yeah, exactly. Well, I went to Chuck and Steve tutoring and
Chuck and Steve?
Chuck and Steve tutoring,
Chuck
yeah.
and cheese?
No, it was Chuck and Steve. See how you guys did, Chuck and Steve. Okay.
Go.
Okay.
Cool.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks. Fuck. All right, now I'm cruising. I mean, this is so stupid.
Yeah, how is this supposed to measure how well?
I don't know. Oh my god.
But you don't get extra points for finishing first.
Did you finish?
Yeah.
God damn it. All the following strategies are used by the writer of the passage except, I don't fucking care, A. All right, I'm done too.
Yay.
So we just have to turn in this sheet?
Yeah.
I'm gonna write Yoonj's name on this one. Wait, give me that and let's switch names.
Okay, let's see how.
Here's me, and
Okay.
here's Yoonj.
I'll be back.
Watch, it's gonna come back that Yoonj did terribly.
Or I could have anticipated this and did really bad. I used to do that when I knew some
Oh my
kid was
god.
cheating off of me.
Literally, isn't this cruel and unusual punishment?
Kind of. Making a kid come here every day of the week. of
Seeing the
summer.
Hollywood sign in the distance, all your dreams over there on that mountain.
Yeah.
Sitting in this room, crying, stressing, dreaming of a future on the big screen or on Pivot TV.
Okay, Yuki, you got 500 out of 800.
Okay.
And Jacob, you did better. You got 580 out of 800.
Okay, we have a surprise for you.
Smart,
I
Jacob.
switched it, and the one that said her name was me. So the truth is, I did bad. You didn't do that well either, though, to be honest.
500, 580, I'm a little rusty.
You got only 4 wrongs, actually.
Oh.
But the curve is really high. Only means 1 or 2 questions. So that's why the result is low.
Okay.
Expected.
How many did I miss?
You got 10 wrong.
Shouldn't it be like a 300 out of 800? The dumber you get,
Then the better the curve is, I think. All right, so basically I have a lot of studying to do.
Please come to a gateway.
Best place to start would be that Asian Americans are the fastest growing population. Like, I'm not sure how to interpret that or think about that. How do you think about that?
It's two things. It's more people coming here and a lot of people fucking, you know? That's what it is, really.
It's no secret that there's a large Asian American population, particularly like where we are in California. It's like, what's the big deal?
Our representation, given how many people are here, I think it's lacking, you know, and our buying power, you know what I mean, is pretty high amongst, you know, minorities and, you know, ethnicities, and yet, have you ever seen an Asian leading man in an American or Western production?
Harold and Kumar.
Yeah. Harold and Kumar, we're not in people's 50 hottest motherfuckers. I think the problem is that, you know, my parents' generation, when they came here, I think it didn't matter if it was communist or Republican or whatever. What was important to them was that our family gets to eat. Doesn't matter what the heck's going on outside. And that's all they had to do, could do, because they couldn't speak the language, they couldn't adjust. But, you know, now that we grow and our kids will grow, we need to break away from that. We need to flex a little harder. You know, when I do stand-up and I'm in Missouri, when I'm in Iowa.
People don't look at you and say, that guy's from LA.
Yeah, they look at me like, I've seen people like you in rush hour.
Do you get like, oh, where are you from?
Yeah, you know, but they're trying to be polite,
right.
You know, and be like, oh, where are you from? I'm from LA. No, I mean.
Well, where are you from? Yeah.
Yeah, you know, and I'm like, Korea. Oh, north or south? And I'm like, north, cocksucker. You know what I mean? Like.
I check out the demographics of the waiting room.
Yep.
Friday was a woman who is a fashion blogger.
Okay.
And she's a kind of sexy, hip New York fashion blogger.
Yeah.
So she's going to be one in this crew of friends who are on the show. And when you go into the room, I'm just like, all right, what kind of chicks are in here? And people leaving the room were Asian American, and people also going in were blondes. And I was like, all right, Asians and blondes.
I feel like a lot of much of the reason why there are so few Asian Americans in entertainment and media is because the parents, like the support group, doesn't really, you know,
entertain that as an option.
Hate that. Like
to be
even
in
my
the
parents, when I was younger, they didn't want me to go into modeling or acting or any TV.
You don't say.
They were like, no, go and get a graduate degree first, and then maybe you can play around with that sort of stuff.
Right.
And I can tell that if my parents are like that, a lot of other Asian American parents are like that.
Yeah, and it takes a while.
And it's hard.
Now my mom's just like, why aren't you on Big Bang Theory?
Since I probably started when we started, 99.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, now it's no big thing. I mean, right? Asians are.
How many non-white people were at Channel 1 when you guys were there?
Me and Lisa, like, yeah.
Lisa Ling, yeah.
Yeah, but it is completely transformed. I mean, now it's everywhere you look. But if we always call my family and my son, you know, we're manufacturing the perfect race because he's a Chindian American, half Chinese, half Indian, and totally American. And so, you know, I think what's happening now also, like the shift is it's all these different cultures colliding and sort of creating something new.
By the time your son is, you know, get into the workforce, how do you want him to perceive stereotype? Do you want him to think that it doesn't exist?
I hope he never even thinks about that. Like, he never really wonders. I mean, I think the traditional images are still very much there, which is, you know, immigrant types of families and Ivy League schools, and you're either a physician or you're an engineer. That is still there, but I think, again, it's changing. I know none of the Indian Americans that I grew up with in our immediate community became physicians or engineers. They became writers, they became entrepreneurs, musicians, artists, filmmakers.
You know, at an earlier time, that we could substitute the word Asians for Jews. You know, what is your take on that and where we are now?
Well, I mean, historically, the whole influx of Jews from Eastern and Central Europe, late 19th, early 20th century, parents wanting them to do better. Their first opportunity to send a kid to college. Well, we want you to get into the best school, and you need to study throughout, and whatever sacrifice we have to make. Well, that's very much of an American Jewish story. And today, I'm hearing a lot of those American Jewish narratives from young Asian Americans. The key being education, and not just any education, but you've got to get into the top. So you have highly motivated kids coming from whose parents may have been born in Shanghai or in New Delhi for that matter. If you can get your great grade on the SAT, that's your ticket. My view is, very important piece of information for every young person watching, do not wear your identity as a chip on your shoulder. If you do, you're going to make your life choices more difficult, and you're going to make it more difficult for people around you to accept you for who you are.
If you're looking for the non-model minority.
Yeah, I was in a class back in Brooklyn in a great Jewish school in which there were 32 kids in our class.
Yeah.
20 were national merit finalists.
Were you one?